Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kathy Taliau, and I'm very happy to welcome you to our professional development webinar today, Introduction to Cool Tools. Today we're going to be looking at the key components for successful integration of digital tools in the classroom, whether it's face-to-face or online. We'll discuss some problem-solving strategies for users of those digital tools, and we'll explore the digital tools themselves for creative teaching and learning strategies. I'd like to start off with a little story. Now, this is a true story. As I go through the story, I'd like you to look for the elements or the components that were involved in me being successful in using the tools that I'm using in the story. Okay. I was a single mom for 10 years, and during that time, I had to fix a lot of things in my house by myself. But that was okay because I had gone through Mr. Smith's wood shop and metal shop class in junior high school and really loved it and picked up some good things. Plus, my stepfather was a drag racing. He used to do drag racing with a '65 Mustang Fastback, and so I used to help him in the garage with that. And so, very comfortable with the tools. Um, I also had YouTube and Google at that time, which was really, really helpful. And during the hurricane season, the first hurricane season that we went through, my son was 8 years old, and we put up our hurricane shutters, the metal shutters, using hand tools. And we decided right away that Santa Claus would bring power tools for Christmas that year because it was really painful on our hands. Um, with that experience, I was excited about power tools. I wasn't afraid of them at all. The other great thing that I had was a friend that I made called Jim. He works at Rocky's Ace Hardware in Wellington. And if you live in Wellington, you probably know Jim. Everybody seems to. Judy's the greatest. I mean, I was just looking at you. Yeah, great. Jim is just awesome in Wellington. You walk in there with any problem and he tells you exactly how to fix it, what materials you'll need, and if you have any other problems, you go back and he helps you work through it. Um, so over the years, with Jim's help and Google and YouTube and the right tools, I replaced the guts in all three toilets that we had. I installed my own digital thermostat and I installed a lighted ceiling fan, which when I tell other people who do home repairs, they're pretty impressed by that. And so now that I've done it, I'm never going to do it again. It's too hard. But I did learn the hard way how to do it, and now I don't have to do it anymore. Okay, so as you listen to that story, hopefully you picked up some of the different elements that it required to be successful with using tools and fixing things around my house. Um, I would like to make the connection between digital tools in your classroom and those hands-on tools that I used for fixing stuff. And you can apply this to any tools that you use, whether it's cooking tools or sewing tools or painting tools or anything that you use can be applied to this. It's the same. You need a real life purpose to really be successful with it and be motivated to do it. You've got to build on the prior knowledge. You've got to start where you are and build on what you already know. It would not have helped for me to start with something more advanced. I've got to start right with what I already know. You've got to have the actual tools. You have to be able to use those tools. If something's too heavy for me, then I can't use it. It's not helpful. And you also need the support. I had Jim, I had Google, I had friends who helped me solve problems and answer questions. Okay. These same things are the elements that we need to bring into our classroom when we talk about integrating new tools, and especially digital ones. I'm really psyched to see Dr. Judy Summers is a panelist with us. And so, Judy, if you want to jump in at any point, please do. Really, really glad to have you with us today.
Thanks, Kathy. I'm glad I was able to too. You're doing a beautiful job. I'm so impressed with your handyman skills. Maybe you should teach a course in that for us.
I gotta say, I was really proud of myself. You know, I really feel proud of myself for being able to do that, and I have no need to do it again.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I like being able to pick up the phone and call and say, "Oh my goodness, I need
It is. But you know, I think that's when we look at these digital tools, we really want to apply the fact that we have to start with where we are. Now, what the first thing that we want to talk about is purpose, um, real life application. This really deserves a whole other workshop in itself, and we've done workshops on establishing purpose for your projects and assessments and things. But I just want to bear this in mind. Um, and I love this quote from Steve Jobs, who is rapidly becoming a hero of mine. He says, technology is nothing. What's important is that you have faith in people, that they're basically good and smart, and if you give them the tools, they'll do wonderful things with them. It's not the tools that you have faith in. Tools are just tools. And I think that's really important. We want to make sure when we go, oh wow, cool new technology tool, we don't want to use the tool just for the sake of using a cool tool. Okay. If a hammer will do, you don't need a jackhammer. Okay. Um, let's use, and here's some of the reasons why. With every tool that we introduce into our classroom, we've got to think about the cost to the students. If one of the things that we're really concerned about in online learning, well, in higher education anymore, is making sure that learning is affordable. Is it accessible to all learners? As we've discussed in other professional development webinars, this is the law. If the tool is not, if a screen reader can't, if a student who's using a screen reader can't use this tool, it's probably not something that you want to use unless there's a real purpose for using it. Um, do you have the support? Something always goes wrong. It doesn't matter if you're fixing a toilet or working in an online course. If you're going to use a tool, plan for it to go wrong and plan for there to be a learning curve. So where do you get the help that you need when you need it? Um, one of the tools that you're going to need to look into when it comes to digital tools is privacy. This is a matter of 21st century citizenship where whenever you put anything into the cloud or out into, you know, cyberspace, who is getting that information and what are they able to do with it? We want to be careful about what we ask our students to sign on to log on to download. And, you know, we don't have a whole lot of control, but at least we need to know something about that information and the terms. One of the examples that I'll share with you is you saw that cute little Bitmoji that I made earlier. This one. This is Bitmoji, and this is okay to use. It's an image. I had originally wanted to use something from GoAnimate, and I've been doing that in my presentations before, not using it as a video tool, but just copying those little characters and putting them into my presentation. Well, I read the terms last night, and that's illegal. Not supposed to do that. So, okay, now that I know, I won't do it anymore. Okay. We want to always build on prior knowledge. This, I think, I'm going to share this with our team too, in terms of what the tool is, how much it costs, does it come with a free trial, what's the privacy policy, what are the terms, what is the accessibility, all of that. Does it integrate with the Canvas, FAU Canvas? And we'll probably put in another piece of is it supported by FAU's Office of Information Technology? These are all just things that we're needing to learn to look for. It was never really an issue before. but it's an issue now. So we need to be aware of it, and it's just a good idea to have that information in your toolbox. Might as well. Okay, so prior knowledge. When it comes to digital tools, what we do at the Center for Online and Continuing Education is this sort of presentation that we're doing is more the anomaly than the norm. We're very much in favor of working one-on-one with people because it's really hard to learn in a group setting because everybody's coming from a different place. And especially when you're talking to professors, you know, we've got these high achievers who don't want to get it wrong and they're kind of nervous about starting something new. So our team does it. The Office of Information Technology is fantastic with this, and I'll give you their information too. If there's software that they support, you can make an appointment and go in and have one-on-one sessions with them. And they'll show you which button to press, how to solve the problems, all of that. But I wanted to share with you was if you were to go through a list of programs, if I were to share with you, okay, do you know Pages? Do you know Keynote? Do you know Excel? For the most part, folks know one suite or another. So if you're familiar with Microsoft Word, you might also be familiar with PowerPoint and Excel. Those are Microsoft products. If I say to you, can you do Google Docs? What I want you to know is the answer is yes. Google Docs and Microsoft Word, it's really just two different, it's like Coke and Pepsi. They're the same thing, just a different flavor, different company. Now, not too long ago, it was difficult to transfer files from one company to another. Apple had its own, and still has its own code that doesn't get read by Microsoft. If you look at the history, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates had a little bit of a conflict with each other in terms of sharing information. And so there used to be a time when those two companies, you either were Mac or Microsoft. Now, with the dawn of the internet and everything really being interchangeable, those companies have to work together. The customers need those documents to be interchangeable. So there still is some crossover in terms of if I tag things for accessibility, it might not transfer perfectly, and sometimes the formatting will get a little messed up. But for the most part, if I have something in Excel, I can open it in Google Sheets. I can open it in Apple Numbers. They're really getting more compatible with each other. So that's really good news, and that should build some confidence for you and your students. The other thing is when it comes to privacy, accessibility, terms, all of those companies are right. They're huge in terms of following the law. They have every kind of support you could need, and I've got that sheet there for you. I'll share it with you. These big companies, they are available to universities. The students can have them. Microsoft and, okay, let me back up a little bit. I get excited. When it comes to Microsoft Office 365, everybody at FAU has access to the whole suite for free. That's ours. At the same time, you've got your same account in Google. So you've got Google Apps, all of these, you can use them for free, unlimited amount of data, pretty much unlimited. So it's kind of exciting. It's no reason not to use it. Apple is more expensive. I like Apple because it's very user friendly, and they were on the cutting edge of accessibility. Yes, it's expensive, but they were the ones pretty much who invented FaceTime, virtual conferencing. Um, all of these, they've got these tools built right in. The computer will talk to you. You can do text, speech to text, all kinds of really neat things. So that's me on my soapbox there. So you kind of, but they all do. Microsoft has the accessibility built in. Google has the accessibility built in. It's all good stuff. The reason that I bring this to you is because you want to look at what you've got and say, do I know, can I even get started? Yes, this is kind of like seventh grade shop class. You've got the basics. If you can do that, you can do pretty much anything, get started. At the same time, we've got these companies have their suites with mail. You can see on these little icons, the icons that I've got under Microsoft and Google, those are copyright compliant. They were in Wikimedia Commons, but Apple is much more concerned about their legal copyright and everything. They're much tighter on it. So I just made up the images that I could. Um, what I want you to see is that each of these companies has virtual meetings. Microsoft Teams is, let me start at the top. We've got email, Outlook. So we've got email, calendar, scheduling, contacts management. And so Microsoft Outlook, Apple iCloud, and Google Gmail are all the same thing, just in different companies. OneNote, um, iCloud, and Google Drive, again, file sharing, all the same thing. As long as everybody's has accounts within those companies, you can share your stuff with them. Teams for Microsoft is virtual software. We've been using it on our team and it's very smooth. I like it a lot. So far, it's the best one that I've seen in terms of usability. Apple has FaceTime and Google has Google Hangouts. You can use Skype for Business, you can use WebEx, you can use all these other Zoom, all these other things. But I'm also a big fan of let's use what we have. If we've got it for free and it's right here and it's accessible and it's supported, let's use it. I am a fan of WebEx. That is the one that's supported at FAU. So just saying. Okay, any questions at this point? Okay. If you have questions or comments, please do jump in. I don't really like to lecture. I would really rather have you all share. Now I'm going to send you guys through the chat a link to a YouTube video. It takes 2 minutes. And the reason that I'm sharing it with you is because if you wanted to hear the sound, we're not going to do the sound over the WebEx because it never works when we do that. This is my Cool Tools Advanced part. If you thought the other thing that I did was cool, this is really cool. So one day I was trying to get, the toilet was leaking, kept leaking on the floor, was causing water damage. So I need to get in there, but I was trying to get these wing nuts underneath, trying to unscrew them. Tried all day and I was really frustrated because I thought if I was a man, I would be strong enough to turn this wing nut off. Finally, about 9 o'clock in the evening, my daughter and I went to Home Depot, and the guy said, "No, the wing nut it's fused together. The Incredible Hulk would not be able to get this thing unscrewed. What you need now is a grinding tool." It's like, great, give me the grinding tool. I want you to look at it and just see what's a little different in using this from, say, using hammer and nails and that sort of thing. Okay, I'm going to play it. I'm going to turn the sound off, hopefully. Hopefully you saw that there were sparks flying. It was metal on metal, and there's those sparks were really, they were flames and there was smoke happening. I had no idea when I bought this thing that that's what it was going to be. I had no experience with this. I wasn't afraid, but if you look in the back, a friend of mine saw this and said, I'm glad that that toilet paper didn't catch on fire while you were doing this. And it just never occurred to me to watch out for flames and stuff. Maybe I should have protected the wall. Um, I did take the precautions to put on my eye protection because Mr. Smith in the 7th grade was always firm about that. And I used gloves because I knew that was an important thing to hold on to it. I've learned through experience that you want to keep the power cord away from the thing that's cutting. I used hedge clippers one day and cut that power cord and the spark flew out. So now I know not to do that anymore. The point is we learn from experience, and the more advanced, the more powerful the tools are, the more cautious you really want to be before you introduce it to a learner who may not have the background information required to use that thing. Now, when we're talking about digital tools, there's not really a danger involved, um, unless you're talking about meeting people online that, and giving information, that sort of thing. But there is a danger in terms of we want our students to be successful. We want things to go as well as possible. When you're asking somebody to learn something new, there's a lot of vulnerability there. So if the guy gives me a tool to use and I can't use it, I don't think that I'll go back to him and say something's wrong, it's not working. I'll probably never try it again. I mean, that's kind of the way human nature is. I'll probably quit and give it to somebody else to do. And so educators, we're in the business of bringing people up another level. We're, building their confidence. And so this is just, we want to be careful with that. So that's the reason why I just wanted to start off with this.
Kathy,
Yes.
Well, I
I
actually have a
I was going to add in that, and you went into that. I was going to add in that the support was really key. You had Mr. Smith from 7th grade shop class, but you also had Jim there that had given you the basic information, and that's such a key part for the digital tools that we use in online classes is providing them the support, giving them however much detail is needed to learn how to use it, and then letting them know that you're there when they have questions about it.
And at the same time, we also know that if you're trying something new, you have to be in a safe place. So don't give me a high stakes project to do in a short amount of time plus a new tool. That puts too much pressure on. Yes, and Dr. Shahada, thank you. Providing proper instruction, making sure that so the person, if you're going to give your students a new digital tool, try it out first. See how hard is it to use, or ask somebody in the class to help, pilot it for you and find out what the bugs are, what the issues are, and then move on from there. Or keep it low stakes. Let them try it and have them come back with reports about what went well, what didn't go well, what problems did they overcome, that sort of thing.
Kathy, we have one more comment from Micheline Helper.
Thank
She
you.
says that we need the right protective gear too, and I think that falls under the support.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, so there's different kinds of presentation software. Flipgrid is pretty cool. Dr. Judy, do you want to jump in and tell us about Flipgrid? Because I know you love it.
I do love it. It's most basic. It is a video discussion board where students can comment on your post and get back to each other, but it is so much more, because it's a way to, just like it says on their website, to empower students and bring the student voice out into with everyone else.
Nancy is unmuted.
Okay, thank you. Go for it, Nancy.
Hi, everyone. Regarding Flipgrid, I love it. Judy's actually the person that introduced me to it, and now I use it with my online courses. the introductory kind of discussion board posts. I used to always do a written one. Excuse me. Now I use Flipgrid. I integrated in my courses, and instead of the written discussion board assignments, I always have a couple of them where the students will access it, since you can integrate it in Canvas through an assignment in the course, and they share their thoughts, and they also respond to their fellow classmates through, it's all video based. So and if they're sharing like an article, they could actually link that article or an attachment of a document with their video that they're uploading through the course. So I've actually been using it quite a bit, and I have a couple of faculty members in my department that have used it with me. And it's been pretty cool. I don't know, what other information would you like me to share on it?
That's terrific. Thanks. Thank you very much. That's
And
awesome.
Thank you.
I'll just mention that I have an assignment with the class that I'm teaching right now where they're reviewing some websites, and I have asked them to create a commercial. Now this is a teaching introduction to the teaching profession, so it's websites that they will use once they get out in the field. So I'm asking them to create a commercial on Flipgrid for a particular website, encouraging their colleagues to visit it.
Very cool. Thank you. Thank you. Our next one is Prezi. Prezi is really fun. It's got it's like a PowerPoint on steroids, because you make your PowerPoint and then, like it's showing here, you click on one piece and it zaps you over to another piece. You can put in links. It's really pretty neat. Only thing I have, well, there's kind of a major issue with Prezi though, is the fact that it's at this time not accessible, and it doesn't seem to be. Looking on blogs and things, it doesn't look like they're working too hard to fix that. So unfortunately, that's kind of a major problem. They're a private company, so they're not required to make their things as accessible, but we are. So if our material is not accessible, it's kind of hard to justify using it, unfortunately. Polling software. Polling software is a lot of fun. If I had more time, I would have done a poll with us today. My two favorite polls so far are Google Forms, which just creates this. I really love Google Forms. It integrates great with the Google Drive suite. And Poll Everywhere is terrific also. And both of these are free, and you can use them through mobile responses, and you get instant answers to questions. You can use it for quick checks with your students, or like if I was going to use it today, I would have asked your comfort level with the different tools and that sort of thing. A lot of fun. A lot of fun.
We have a question coming
Yep.
from Micheline Hilbert. She
Sure.
says, how hard is it to get started on these? My students tell me Kahoot is far better than Quizlet, but the initial setup seems like far more work. Are any of these easy and fast to learn for the teachers?
See, I'm going to go ahead and say there is no good answer to that question, because what seems easy to me might seem really hard to you. And that's why we really want to get together one-on-one with people, and why we want to make sure you've got the support. So that's really a personal question. And think of it in terms of learning a musical instrument. My daughter played guitar for years, and then she picked up the violin and started playing music on her first try without any lessons. For her, that was really easy.
We actually have a comment from Tress Bishop, who's
Sure.
replying to Micheline.
Okay.
He says, I found Kahoot really easy to learn and introduce to my students.
Okay, great. Dr. Judy, can you write that down for me, Kahoot and Quizlet, that we want to look into those as well? Thanks so much.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely. And I would like to let everyone know if you want to share any others that you want more information about. We'll plan a follow-up to this and talk about some of them in particular that you want to know about. Yeah,
thanks.
great plan. Thank you.
Absolutely. Video creation and video editing software. Now, any like pretty much every hardware now has recording software built into it. If you have a smartphone, you've got a recorder built right in. So it's not like it used to be. You don't have to have an extra piece of hardware to do your recording. But if you want to, okay, Screencast-O-Matic is the basic is free. You can start for free, and they do have good accessibility. Um, and they are integrated with FAU Canvas. There's an LCI for that. So that's a good one for getting started. And it gives you the ability to edit the captioning for your videos. So that's a good one. Camtasia is another video recording software, editing software, but it's expensive. So if you've got, if it's a real hobby of yours, Camtasia is a good way to go. You can edit the audio and the video separately if you need to. It's more advanced, but it is a very, very good tool. And then we've got Beyond, which used to be Go Animate. And this makes those cool little videos, that you've seen. Sometimes they're in black and white, and
We have a question.
yep.
It says, is it worth, sorry, Tress Bishop says, is it worth it to upgrade Screencast-O-Matic or does the free version work?
Again, it really depends on how much you're going to use it. I love investing money in software and hardware. You know, that's something that I do. But if everybody's on a budget, and so you just really need to look at how much do you already use the tool and do you want to take it to the next level. Also, with a lot of these tools, they do give educator discounts. Um, and you might look at, does your department have an account?
And with Screencast-O-Matic, their upgrade to their Pro is a whopping $18 a year.
There you go. So for the cost of what, 3 cups of coffee at Starbucks, you can do it.
Nancy, she says it is so worth it if you teach a lot of online courses. My opinion, I am a big fan of Screencast-O-Matic.
Yep. Also, if you're an online instructor, remember that the Center for Online and Continuing Education, formerly SAL, we've got studios in Davie, Jupiter, and Boca, and we've got a team of people who, that's our job, will help you record your videos. They'll look professional. We'll get them captioned professionally, and we'll embed them into your course for you. That's a service that we offer because we do support online instruction. So um, that's also a great option, and it's free. Okay. Bitmoji I showed you a minute ago. This is just kind of fun. It's really fun to have a avatar that looks just like you, and I like the fact they're committed to diversity and inclusion. So they've got avatars in wheelchairs and avatars from all other countries and things. It's fantastic, and that's free. It's a lot of fun. We haven't even scratched the surface with Adobe. Adobe is a whole suite of products that goes from beginner to advanced. There's just so many different things that you can do with Adobe. Um, if you want more information, there's a bunch of Adobe geeks who are happy to talk to you about it. It's not derogatory in any way. Um, very, very good software. Different programs for making illustrations and things. And then Pixabay is free. It's just a website that has all kinds of copyright compliant images. If you want to use the picture of this cat, you go ahead and download it, and it tells you what the license is and how to attribute it, and you're good to go. Okay, so we use Pixabay all the time because we really want to be careful about copyright compliance. And then this kind of gets back to the question that Dr. Helper was asking. How do I get started? Found this great quote from George Herbert. It says, "Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you may have at your command, and then better tools will be found as you go along." So we start with what we have and we take it to the next level. Okay, we can't let anxiety and fear and what if get in the way, because if we do that, we'll never go anywhere. Okay, you've got people to help you. If you want to give it a try, we want you to go for it. We thank you so much for your time today. Your time is the most valuable thing that you have. And I say it every time because it really is true. We're very, very honored and privileged that you would choose to spend an hour with us today. I hope it was worth your time, worth your while, and we look forward to seeing you again. Have a great day.
Beautiful, Kathy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.